Good evening. I'm John Bailey. This is People to be Heard. And this is the program where people who have something to say have their say. And tonight you have the Superintendent of Schools for White Plains, Dr. Joseph Ricca.
Hi, John. Good to see you.
Nice joining me. And Ricca Teich, the Assistant Superintendent for Business of White Plains Schools. Thanks for joining us. And Monday, Dr. Ricca, the White Plains Teachers Association approved the memorandum of agreement that you and the Board of Education worked out with the teachers union. How does that work out for all parties concerned? The school district, the teachers, and the taxpayer.
Well, John, first of all, thanks again for the opportunity to be with you, and thanks for coming out on location here at Ed House. We really appreciate that. So we were really pleased and really excited to be able to share with our school community on Friday that the White Plains Teachers Association ratified their memorandum of agreement, or our memorandum of agreement, and I should say I think it was 599 to 29 or
Yes.
something like that.
Yeah.
So,
Bringing endorsement.
Yeah, and then of course the Board of Education was happy to review the MOA and have it on their agenda on Monday evening, where it passed unanimously as well. And in terms of the agreement and how it impacts our school community and our overall community, the first thing I can say is it's very positive whenever you get through a negotiations process amicably and with a mutual feeling of goodwill, which we were able to achieve this time with our colleagues in the association, and we're really grateful for that. In terms of the fiscal responsibility of the agreement, it's a sustainable agreement that provides us with a pathway or a roadmap into our financial planning into the future. And in terms of the community with respect to the taxpayer, it again is respecting the fact that we are in a tax cap era, and our faculty and staff members and our entire educational community recognize and respect and appreciate that.
Right, and you say it provides a pathway to the future. What kind of path is it?
Well, I'll tell you, and I'm so happy to have my partner and teammate here, Dr. Ricca Teich. Anne really does a tremendous job in terms of being able to forecast and plan for our fiscal future. She keeps me on track a lot of the time, which is great. And it provides us for the ability to plan for the future.
It does. It provides budget certainty, and it allows us to do those long-range forecasts out 5 years, so that we understand exactly, what our needs are, and how to continue to plan and support our instructional program.
How does the agreement keep in check rising expenses?
It does. It does. It respects the fact that we've been through an inflationary period, more so than we had during the Great Recession, and it respects the fact that we need to provide a fair and equitable agreement going forward, but at the same time, those constraints that we have due to the tax levy cap.
Now it provides a 1.5, and a 1.5% for 3 straight years.
Correct.
Just across all salary levels and steps.
Right.
And that's 4.5% overall.
Right.
Does this and you also they're paying a little more by the 3rd year on health insurance. Does health insurance increases factor into selling an agreement?
Oh, sure. And again, credit to our colleagues in the negotiating team for the WPTA. I think there is a very keen understanding that we're trying to achieve sustainability. It's not an us and them type of an environment, and so when we're looking at the negotiated agreement, the question is this an agreement that will be able to be sustained into the future? And contributing to healthcare premiums is one of those vehicles that helps you get there.
Now, the health insurance, how much do you expect that to be going up? Does the teacher contribution take care of it all?
Well, I'll tell you, it certainly
offset.
helps. It certainly helps, and we know that healthcare will rise over the course of the next 3 years as the teachers, their increase in terms of their commitment to their health care plan will help with those fixed costs as well.
But it doesn't wipe out the raise.
And the increase each year, you know, in the health plan that we're part of, it's a consortium of Southern Westchester School District, has done an incredible job at trying to keep those premium increases as low as possible. We anticipate a blended increase next year of just over 4.5%, 4.41%. And last year was about 3.6%. So, you know,
Next year, 4.5?
4.5 next year, which
Yes.
is much better than some of the other insurance plans, in
11%,
particular New
12%.
York State plan. So it helps to, you know, mitigate some of that increase and provides the fact that we're collaboratively sharing in that cost.
So how much does a single family, a family teacher, a teacher with a family, and a single teacher pay for the plans?
Family coverage is upwards of $24,000, and single coverage is, you know, high $9,000.
Yeah, and the increase per year is like, let's see, was it 65 and $65
It's about two. It's
for the single and
no, it would depend on where you are.
Right.
So it's about 0.25% increase
Right.
per year.
Right, it's going to be great.
And it'll be more than that. But to your initial question, would it wipe out the 1.5% overall increase on the salary? No. And that's a real important distinction to make, is that 1.5% increase is in salary and the 0.25% is on the premium for the insurance.
yeah, this is the first time I can remember in 19 years that the instructional budget has been presented first to the district. Why did you do that this year?
Yeah.
Yearly agreement?
Purely, no, actually it was just purely logistics and scheduling. It was when our team members were available to be able to present to the
I
board.
see.
Yeah, so it just had to do with calendar.
I see, but it certainly makes the prognosticators very happy because it looks, and what do we expect next? The next budget to present it is the...
Yeah, and the 25th, the non-instructional component, the non-instructional piece will be presented in terms of our initial proposals. So you have everything from athletics to facilities and technology and capital will be all part of that conversation.
Is that going to be cut?
We are not recommending any cuts.
No cuts, I see. Now, how would you describe the advantage of the seventh? Does it give, well, you've already said, flexibility in the rest of the budget, right?
Planning, yeah.
Yes, okay. Have the teachers sacrificed for the good of the district and the taxpayer for the next 3 years?
You know, that's a really great question, especially in today's day and age where oftentimes we hear that, you know, folks are concerned about teachers or feel like they don't think about the community. And here's what I can tell you about our teachers. They absolutely do think about the community. Years ago, during the economic recession, when we all were hurting, they took pretty dramatic steps to be able to preserve our educational system. Moving forward, you know, the district has always had a positive relationship with them. They're great professionals. Sacrifice is something that I think they do all the time in the classroom. They do it, you know, on weekends. They do it all the time. In this particular agreement, I think, and you saw this in the resounding support, I think they feel like they were respected, and it was fair.
Well, it certainly is a very good thing for the district, particularly in the uncertain future we face as far as inflation goes.
Right.
Who knows what's going to happen? I had thought this would be a big budget increase this year, and does the settlement hold out hope for the property tax increase to hold at last year's level?
Well, I'll tell you, you know, what our community members can always count on. They can count on this for as long as Ann and I are here, I can tell you. And this board has been committed to this for their tenure as well, is that we're going to do everything we can to keep costs as low as possible, to stay within the tax cap, and at the same time to continue to provide enhancements and an excellent education for our kids. The settlement will help in terms of us being able to plan for the future. Right now we are thinking that we're going to be probably a few points higher in terms of the tax rate than last year, but nothing dramatic. I mean, and we were just talking about that.
Yes, and, it should just be slightly greater, the tax rate, based on, just the calculations for the tax levy cap this year, and, our pilot agreements coming on and coming off, but it should be within the range of what it was last year.
Right. Do you, sidebar question, do you and Mayor Roach discuss where your budget is going and where his is, and try and coordinate a sugary presentation?
Let me tell you, Mayor Roach and I, we collaborate on a lot of things. One area that we actually don't collaborate on is the budget.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about the budget in terms of, what it's going to look like, but the city's needs in terms of what their requirements are different than the district's. So, other than all of us trying to keep a fiscally responsible budget, there's not a whole lot of there.
So you don't really give them a heads up. Look, we're going to really hit them with this, and you might want to learn nothing like that.
No, and I got to tell you,
Like that.
I hope we never in a situation where I'm using the words "we're really going to hit them." That is not what I want to be.
Right. Well, that's the
No, I know what you
problem.
mean.
Is that I brought you, but that would. On the other hand, you're not saying we're going to really decrease it this
Right.
year. So,
Right. Well, what I can tell you is,
But
if we
hands
were in
up
a
to
situation where there
Yeah.
was going to be something that was out of the ordinary,
Mm-hmm.
we do have that relationship. We would have that ability to connect with the city and perhaps collaborate.
Yeah. The retirements from administration and faculty combined with the settlement keep this year's tax increase at the same level as last year. You've said it won't, but do we expect it? Or are we seeing a flight?
No, we actually have fewer retirements this year than we did last year. We certainly don't see a flight from folks from White. No, what we see in White Plains is folks come to White Plains and they spend their career in White Plains, which is a very strong indicator of the quality of the district and the attractive nature of the community.
Yeah.
So no, we don't have any concerns with that.
All right. Are we losing more teachers though?
No.
Is the staff getting younger, less?
Oh, well, sure. So that's a great
Less
question.
expensive.
That's a great question. Yeah. So each year we do have a handful of retirements. Last year more than we had this year, which will allow for a new crop of faculty members, and of course that does provide some assurances for the future, because you can start at a lower step. But I will tell you that the folks that we have here, the veteran teachers in the classroom, they're doing a great job, and when they do retire, we have no shortage of applicants to fill those positions, and tremendous applicants.
So
White Plains is sorted.
I see. That being said, that would mean you feel we need all the administration we have to run the district.
So we have we have a pretty big.
Tough question.
No, it's a great question. It's a very fair question, and people oftentimes will focus on the administration for that first question about. I think one of the reasons why the district is in the positive position that it's in, is because the district has committed to high quality oversight at the organizational level. We have a larger school district. We have over 1,000 employees, over 7,000 children, over $200 million budget. I think the level of administration where we're at right now is appropriate for that. We actually have fewer administrators, I think, now than we did.
Exactly, and
10 years ago.
a comparison that we did 2 years ago showed that our ratio of administrators to staff and students were lower than
On the
other
lower end.
How much
surrounding
lower?
districts. We were on the low side of that ratio. I forget off the top of my head,
Significantly lower?
but we were definitely
with
below
less,
the
right,
median.
yes,
We were
right.
definitely below the median.
Definitely below the median.
Here's what I can say as
That's very good.
no, it's great.
Half.
Right, and
About half.
what I can say about our administrators is they're kind of like utility players in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Where in some districts you might have folks who are designated to one particular position. Our administrative team members are able to do a lot of different things, and they do a lot of different things, which helps us to be able to accomplish more.
I see. Well, of course.
Which is
right.
great.
Exactly. What the White Plains Teachers Association showed that the settlement is very in line with other district settlements. how does our teacher salary schedule compare with other districts in the county? Are we in the top 5 or?
Oh, no,
No.
no, no.
Where are
No.
We're right, we're probably right in the middle, around 14 or so.
14, median, you know, starting to
That's
be
it.
towards
That's
the third
interesting to
quartile.
note.
Yeah.
And probably other less performing districts.
I tell you, you know, the hallmark, I think, is that over time, the district and the Board of Education and the association over time has recognized that this is a marathon, it's not a sprint.
Yes.
And it's about sustainability, and you have to keep that in mind, you know. And again, by the way, that's another one of those reasons, I think, that White Plains is so attractive, because you can earn a good salary, you're respected, it's a great place to work.
And as much as we, the residents of White Plains, complain about the taxes, we are so lucky
Well,
compared to
comparatively,
other towns and cities.
Yeah, comparatively, our taxes are lower. That's not to say that they're not. We know that we live in a high tax area, and that's not to say that they're not high. But we're going to do everything we can to keep them as low as possible, that's for sure.
Yeah. So, can we attract top talent to the teaching staff with our salary?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. When we have an open position, elementary classroom position, we receive thousands of applications. Thousands.
And in fact, I just got a resume sent to me from a colleague that I forward on. People seek us out.
It's a great district.
Why is that?
Well, because, for a number of reasons. Number one, it's a wonderful community. You know, and you know that because the house goes on the market in White Plains, it's sold in like 15 minutes, right? In a lot of cases.
Well, it used to.
Yeah, yeah.
Now it's more like 6 months.
6 months, okay. It's a great place. It's the hub of the county, and our district can offer things to children that other districts simply cannot. Because of our scale, because of our size, we have programming that other people don't have, and opportunities for children that don't exist in other places. And you have the great benefit of a diverse student population, which adds to our school community like nowhere else. So, you know, I think it's a very, very attractive place to come and raise a family, and certainly a place where you want your children to go to school and be exposed to all the great things that are available.
What do you try to do as a superintendent in setting salaries, selecting staff, and keeping the staff at the highest standard in the county? Your philosophy?
Yeah, so my philosophy is that even though we're teachers, we're always learning. And you know, the more brain research that comes out, the more information and research related to pedagogy and related to instructional supports, related to social and emotional development. It's my job, it's our job to be consumers of that and practitioners of that, and continue to support our faculty and staff members acquire new skills, hone old skills as they move forward. So, you know, I think what we have done very well and what we will continue to do into the future is provide our teachers with ongoing professional support, professional development, so they're always new in the classroom. You know, they're up to and enacting the most recent instructional best practices. And again, that's not something you see everywhere. So I will continue to do that. We'll continue to support our teachers, and we respect them, John. That's important. You know, I'm a teacher, right? We're teachers. We understand that. We respect them. We're grateful to them. Our community respects them. Moms and dads say thank you to teachers in White Plains. That's special. I mean, it really is. You know, it's sad for me to have to say it's special, but it is. And you know, that's why I think White Plains continues to be a real shining star, and certainly a place where we work collaboratively with moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas. You just don't have the kind of partnerships that we have here other places.
Looking forward to our next budget talk in May, when the budget will be completed, you and Ann Vaccaro-Teich will again join us to take Mr. and Mrs. White Plains through the budget.
We will.
What factors could negate the benefits of the settlement and impact taxes darkly that you don't know about?
That we don't know about. From now until, well, I think tomorrow the governor is slated to provide the additional information.
Right, budget amendments are coming out to his executive budget, and their revenue to date has not been at the level that they had anticipated. So that we're going to watch for to see if that
Right.
makes a change.
And I believe the governor had a conversation with the president yesterday related to
To
state and
salt.
local taxes deduction. You know, New York is one of the economic engines of the United States of America.
Yes.
So the health of the great state of New York is very much a barometer of the health of the rest of the country. So we hope that the governor will be able to continue to provide that support, maybe even provide a little bit more support, but certainly not go in the other direction. Right now in the executive budget, we're looking at about 0.48% increase on foundation aid, John, which is about $67,000. Not enough.
No.
White Plains
I
taxpayers'
mean, in
money.
fact, it's been astronomical the last couple of years compared to past years, what we've been getting, right?
Right. So we budget very conservatively, and we budget flat. We don't anticipate increases. So hopefully there's no dark news on the horizon for us between now and May.
And there's, you know, advocacy letters that much of our associations in the legislature are getting behind for small city schools, so that we do get our share of foundation aid that is attributable.
And we're really, you know, we're very fortunate now, right? We have Senator Andrea Stewart Cousins as the leader. We have Senator Shelley Mayer as the chair of the Education Committee.
Yeah.
These are all things that are helpful to us because they understand our story and will be able to tell it in Albany along with us.
Hopefully, unless they give more to the districts that have been crying for more aid for years, and that the legislature doesn't feel is getting their share. I mean, that's a factor. That would really upset me. Yeah.
Yes, but we're optimistic.
Always
Cautiously.
the always optimistic
But
Dr.
plan.
Joseph.
Always
Right.
based on a plan.
Right.
Planning.
Now, so I'll put you on the spot. What is your anticipated school tax increase this year?
Well,
2 months out.
Yeah, 2 months out. So, and you know, for our friends at home, we have to say that this is very preliminary. A lot of things can happen. Things could change. We're hopeful it's somewhere around 3.7, 3.8%. We're not quite sure yet, but we'll see. In terms of the tax rate.
3.8%
The tax rate would
increase.
probably be, you know, probably down around 3.3.
The tax rate
Tax
down
rate.
at 3.3, the tax increase
It'll depend.
3.8.
Depends on what comes in.
The
And,
tax levy,
Okay.
right?
Well,
Because
there's-
that's dependent on, you know, the tax rolls and what they finally are for March 1st, so it's hard to know right now.
This would put us at about 25 million according to your projection in January, right?
225 million?
225
5 million,
I'm
yeah.
always forgetting that.
Right.
The two.
Right.
225 million, folks. And
Yeah, again, within the tax cap. You know, that's where we're going to stay. We're going to stay where we need to stay.
Tax levy compliant, yes.
I see. Well, Dr. Joseph Ricca and the Carol Teich of the Assistant Superintendent for Business in the White Plains School District, and Dr. Joseph Ricca, the Superintendent of the Schools, you have been heard at this very fluxy situation. Okay, so thank you for appearing on the program.
Thank you very much.
Discussing
And
the
thank you.
Teacher's Summit.
Thank you.
John Daly, good night for People to Be Heard.